Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Matt Delacry. Like last week, we're doing this live, so if I mess up or say something wrong, everyone will know. But while that's less than ideal, there is an upside. Instead of just listening to me talk like you would if we were just doing a regular old podcast, you now have the ability to ask questions, make comments, and voice your cries of outrage. Hopefully, there won't be too much outrage, but I mean, I'm wrong sometimes. So if I say something horrible, let me know. And if you wouldn't mind, tell me why I'm wrong. That way I can think about whether I should change my view. So, again, since this is live, you get to ask questions. If you're on desktop, you should see the chat box on the right side of your screen. If you're on mobile, you should see the chat button just to the right of the like and dislike buttons. You have to sign in to leave a comment or a question, but if you do, I will answer them at the end. So, type your questions out as you think them, and I will answer them in just a few minutes. Now, last week was just an intro to make sure all the technical bits worked out and to let you know what we're going to do. Today, we're going to begin with our first question. Why do you do what you do? Do you do something because it's right? Or do you do something because that's what the people around you are doing? And that's a really important question with the way things have been going lately. Because as much as we all want to say that we do something because it's right, that may not necessarily be the case. And since the quarantine has started, I think we're starting to see that a little more clearly. So, how can we tell whether what we're doing is something we're doing because it's right or it's because that's what the people around us are doing? And just as importantly, why does it matter? Let's start with the first one. Most of us don't tend to step out from the group too much. We tend to spend our time with people who think like us and act like us, and that's not entirely a bad thing. But then something invariably will happen and everyone in the group goes one way, but you're left kind of wondering, is that really the right way to go? The question is, what do you do now? You can ignore that feeling, that that you're not going the right direction, or you can try to set off in a new direction, possibly alone. The thing is, it's never really easy to go it alone. It's much easier to go, along with a group. And I could sit here and I could tell you that you should have the courage to do that, and you absolutely should. I mean, go it on your own. I mean, but I want to talk about a different part of this dilemma. The issue is, how are you going to make decisions if you decide to go off on your own? Like if you decide to step out on your own because the group isn't going somewhere good, how do you figure out which way actually is good? So, I mean, when everyone was just going one way and you were going along with them, life was much easier. You followed the standard practice of everyone else, you listened to conventional wisdom. But if you're thinking of going in a different direction, your life just got more complicated because now you have to think through everything yourself. Should I do this thing or should I not do this thing? That's a great question. If you're not following the group, you have to come up with an answer to your own. You have to come up with your own answer to that question. So if you decide to take responsibility for what direction you go in life and not just follow the crowd, you need to do two things. First, you're going to need to think through which direction is the right direction. And second, you're going to need the courage to act on whatever direction you decide is the right one. And neither one of those things is easy. So why would you do all this? It takes a lot of work. It's uncomfortable realizing you've just been following the crowd and you don't know why you do what you do. And it's very unpleasant to start moving in a new direction when all your peers are continuing down the path that you've been comfortable in for so long. Well, I'll give you two reasons. First, it's better for you as a person. This comes down to the question, who are you? And it's not simply about following the crowd or not. Going your own way is not always better. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. The real question here is, are you the sort of person who will do the right thing no matter what the consequences are? Someone who will do the right thing, even if it hurts them personally, is a person of character and someone of value. Someone who will only do what is right if it's easy is not a person of value, and their character is not so awesome. Because if you'll only do the right thing when it's easy, that means when things get hard, you'll do the wrong thing. And hard times really are when it counts. A person of value will do the right thing when it's difficult and not just when it's easy. Now, on this path of doing the right thing, you'll bump into others with whom you disagree. I mean, we're not all right all the time. I mean, we all think different things, so that ought to be clear. And even if you try to do the right thing with all your strength, which you absolutely should do, you're going to make mistakes. And you will need to be mature enough to know you're not right about everything. You see, finding and walking the right path requires not only the courage to go it alone, if necessary, it also requires the humility to realize you don't always have all the right answers and you need others' help, even if it comes from someone you may not like. Now, not only is it important for your own character for you to do what's right rather than what's comfortable, it's also important for the group. And the reason for that is that if we all go along with wherever the group is taking us, then who's leading us? Are we just going sort of like wherever the current takes us? I mean, that might be nice for a relaxing day on a nice, calm river, but this world is not a nice, calm river. I mean, just look around you. There's some real problems. At least some people in the group need to have paddles or motors or something to be able to make course corrections. It would absolutely be best if everyone could make their own course corrections, but because then we could go somewhere more interesting together, whether the current is taking us there or not. But if at least some of us can make course corrections, then we can help the others who can't. And we can all avoid the rapids and obstacles that are in front of us together. Ideally, everyone will take responsibility for their own path and think through their decisions. In reality, that won't happen. But there need to be at least some people who do have the ability and will make decisions based on what's right so that they can keep the group as a whole from floating wherever the current takes us. So you can either float along with the current and accept what comes, or you can be the kind of person who will take responsibility for your own course and do the right thing, even if it's difficult. The only question to ask is, which kind of person will you be? All right, so I'll take some questions if you have them. And while y'all are typing, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you don't have any questions so you get a notification when I do my next live video. The plan is to do this at the same time every week, 4 p.m. Eastern. But it's helpful to get reminders, so if you would, click on the subscribe button. All right, well, I'm not seeing any questions, but I also haven't told many people that I'm doing these live videos yet. I suspect there'll be more in the future as people find out that I'm doing this and as we get more comfortable having these conversations with one another on difficult topics. So until next week, think about what it's like to do the right thing in your life, especially if it's not easy, and have a good week.